What is up, guys? Before we get into this, I want to say I'm very upset that this has to end a very negative note between me and my whole standing with the community. And this has been the most amazing experience for me, from going from 11 to 19 years old and having its ups and downs. But without further ado, let's get straight into the reason of why I am quitting the community. So, let me start off by saying the community was always a not very welcoming place. I do remember that when I was 11 years old, I was a very calm person. It was very hard to aggravate me. And I will definitely say the store community helped me become sometimes someone who could really become angered very quickly. And it started like that in gens when I started making a clan and I became more competitive and the whole feeling of losing came out. So the storm community changed me a little bit personality wise, but it's still very hard to aggravate me, but still it became a lot easier to aggravate me than I once was. And the community, from the time I said I was very young, it wasn't very welcoming. The top players, I do remember last night being in mass stream and someone said at least the players are respectful, or the pros. And in my opinion, the person who named these people, they weren't pros in my honest opinion, and that's not really relevant. But it's just the pros were never respectful to each other. It was almost like the pros, we only hung out with each other due to the fact that we were of the same skill level. But did we really hang out and play other games together? Not necessarily, no. Did we really hang and talk about anything else other than Naruto? Not necessarily, no. There was only a few people that were top players that I really became good friends with. Mass being one of the few. Mass, Mass is like a brother to me and stuff like that. And Mass and Hirosuke no Mae and stuff like that, they were really almost one of the only pros that you can say that I really became good friends with and actually genuine friends with. And the pros, we would sit there, and even I'm guilty of it, everyone's guilty of it at some point, but we would all trash talk each other behind each other's back at some point. It happened. It was just a thing. But that's not even the biggest problem for the Storm community as far as it went for me. For me, I believe that once I started streaming this game, once the community became more interactive through the broadcasting from a PlayStation system and not having to spend $200 to get a capture card, I genuinely believe that's what killed the game for me. Because I would have been able to sit there and play this game had it not been for streaming. I would have been able to sit there and keep making videos on it, but streaming is really what killed it, and it was because of the viewers. The viewers were the biggest problem in this game for me, because the thing about viewers, other gaming communities were not like this community. This community was the biggest amount of kiss ups I have ever seen. I have never seen a bigger community of just flat out kiss ups, just to call it what it really is. And then there was very passive aggressive people in comment sections, just going through the years of generations to generations to Storm 3 to Revolution to Storm 4, before broadcasting became a thing and people started streaming all the time, the viewers were already going crazy, not knowing how to act, even in the video comment section. And then moving towards streaming, and then seeing the things that they comment live was just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm very sad to say that I was not intelligent enough to see that, I really wasn't intelligent enough to see that at all. And that was a little bit of that was very mind-blowing to me, because one thing about how this goes is I hadn't played since October 1st. If you all know who he is, Icy Mist was Icy Mist was a player that, was very known. They were very known for being a very good player and pretty much uncontested throughout all of Rev. When I played Icy, one of my friends, who I'm not going to name because that's not relevant, but when I was playing Icy, I was in a party with a few of my other friends, Ibra and my friend who's going to do what I exactly talk about. basically what happens is my friend is just kissing up to Icy hardcore. The reactions that he's having to the most simplest things, it's making my other friend Ibra Daiki think somebody's getting absolutely destroyed. When me and Icy were in the same vicinity of health at the time, we were in the same vicinity of health, he replies back to Ibra, yeah, iPod's getting pretty much throttled right now. And I didn't say anything to it at that point. But at one point, Icy does the most simple, most common thing. He just calls out Neji support. And then pretty much what happens after that, I get hit by Neji. Icy messes up and throws a shuriken by accident, and to counter the mess up, Icy just counters. My friend just loses his mind. And he's like, what the? He's like, that was such a good play. It was so smart. And I'm just like, what? And that was my main problem with the community. People would kiss up to any of their favorite players. Literally, my biggest example would be, I love Mask, but that would be my biggest example. People did with Mask all the time. I could tell you, I would watch Mask hover over Sage Monera, and then everybody in the comment section goes crazy. Oh God, he's about to destroy. Lord have mercy on their souls. Like, it would just be, people would say anything, disrespect any other player to appease their favorite player. And that was the biggest problem with the community for me. And then, like I said, a lot of people just, the viewers just really killed it. And another reason is just like, a lot of these viewers didn't understand the streamer to viewer relationship. They did not get it at all. And one person who I am going to shout out for that is Chase790. He was one of the viewers that really understood the streamer to viewer relationship. And I'm sorry if you were another viewer who understood the streamer to viewer relationship. I am sorry that I'm not getting to you. It's just, Chase is just the guy that just comes off the top of my head. Chase was a guy who was very respectful in streams. If he said something that could even be taken slightly disrespectful, he made it very clear. He was very transparent about the fact that he was just joking and stuff like that. Chase was just an all-around good guy, and we, like, me and Mask and a few other players, we actually became friends with the guy because he was a very respectful person, and he was just an all-around chill guy to be with, even in streams, etc. The other viewers, I'm sorry, the other viewers were just crazy. We had passive-aggressive people, and anything negatively, I'm not going to call anybody out. I thought about it, but I'm not. It's no point. I'm not going to bring hate to anybody in this video, but the people who didn't understand it, there was one guy who I'm not going to say the name of, and he probably won't even know I'm talking about him, but there was one guy who was very passive aggressive every single time. Basically what this guy would do, he would call out somebody for whatever reason. Second somebody said something to him, now he's all of a sudden, whoa, take it easy. And then pretty much, and he contested me a lot of the times in streams, he would say something to me that was very disrespectful, whether if it was in my own stream or if it was in Mass stream. And then the second I say something to him that I'm letting him know he's offended me, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. All of a sudden I'm the one who's being the vibe killer when he's just said something outlandish and just completely disrespectful to me. So one thing that I've just noticed with this community is that this community just became a community that was just a bunch of kiss-ups and just a very childish community in general. And I believe that once we involve that interaction live with streaming, I believe that's when the community just overflooded with people who were just utterly rude, would disrespect anybody for the sake of making their own personal top player feel worshipped or on a pedestal that they shouldn't be put on. It just became a big misunderstanding, or not even misunderstanding. It just became a big situation that I didn't even want to deal with anymore. And it drove me away, for that matter. It drove me away. I couldn't stream the game anymore and love it. And also another thing, that the last thing I am going to touch on is just like the unloyal subscribers. Just like I would see on Mass streams all the time, like he would stream another game and it wouldn't get nearly as much views as it got on as it got on Naruto, it wouldn't get nearly as much. And then the same people pop up in his Naruto stream, I've missed you so much, this, that. They're parading around like they're some sort of loyal subscriber. And when I tried to put out other content for people, it wasn't really appreciated. And I can't really expect that. I'm a Naruto channel. You guys are here for Naruto. But once I realized that it became something that I was just doing to keep my channel alive, and I didn't even like doing it that much anyway because of the community itself, it just became something that I was just like, I can't do it anymore, you know? I couldn't do this anymore. And that's like the main reason of why this is my last video on YouTube, and I am done with the community so far. I mean, now if another Storm game comes out, another Naruto, maybe I'll do it, but probably not. Now, if you're wondering where this gameplay is pulled from, this gameplay was pulled from the first to fives that I had with True Prodigy EV. Shout out to him, great guy. I actually became friends with him too. Shout out to him, he's a cool guy. And this came from our first to fives, where if I'm not posting the first to five videos, so I did win these 5-4, so those were GGs to him, man. And other than that, this has been an amazing experience with you guys, and I'm sorry it has to end on a sad note, but this is your boy Cam, and I'm out.
Sometimes a certain smell will take me back to when I was young. How come I'm never able to identify?